Hello. Today we're going to look at section 1.4, modeling with linear functions, the let's practice section, problem number 5. In this problem, we're going to interpret and evaluate linear equations. The cost, C of M, in dollars of a gym membership for M months can be described by the linear model C of M equals 30M plus 70. Let's look closer at what this model tells us. What is the independent variable and what does it represent? Remember, when we're looking at linear models, we can start by considering the slope. Remember, the slope is the change in y over the change in x. And remember that this will be 2 units. Okay, so this is the cost in dollars for months. Dollars per month. Once you can state the slope in units, then you know that y, the dependent variable, is in the numerator, and x, the independent variable, is in the denominator. So we talked about this before. Now we're talking about dollars per month. Okay. Once you see that slope, that helps you dissect the whole idea. What is the independent variable? What does it represent? Okay, so we can state that. The independent variable is M, and it represents the number of months. We know that it's independent because time just keeps on ticking. It doesn't depend on anything else. It's independent. What is the dependent variable and what does it represent? Well, the dependent variable is the y value, C of M. You can kind of see right there that what's the cost? It depends on how many months you've gone to the gym. What does this represent? The cost in dollars. What is the y-intercept, and explain what the y-intercept means. So when we're talking about the slope and the y-intercept, remember that the b value is the same unit as the y value. Because this is a y-intercept and this is a y value, that's the same unit. So what is the y-intercept? We know that that must be measured in dollars. Let's take a look at that really quick, since we're dissecting everything. So cost, C of M, equals 30. What does M represent? Let's write this out in units, okay? So cost is dollars. 70 is the y-intercept, which would also be dollars. And then we know that 30 is the slope. And we know that the slope is measured in dollars per month. So if we just wanted to put units, this would be dollars per month. And then we see that unit here, the x value is months. Okay, see what happens here. We're talking about months over months. That can divide. So now we have dollars equals dollars plus dollars. So that's how the units really help us to clean that up. So what's the y-intercept? It will always be the same unit as the y value, the dependent variable. Okay, what is the y-intercept? So the y-intercept is 70. And what does that mean? That means, so we're getting a gym membership. It's $30 per month. What does 70 mean? 70 is a one-time fee. So there is a $70 one-time fee. This could be your sign-up cost. Oh, come register for the gym, pay $70 and then $30 per month. What is the slope or the rate of change, and what does that mean? So we can see that the slope is 30, and that means we'll be paying $30 per month. 30, and this means we're paying $30 per month, each month, every month. Find C of 18. All right, so once again, we have our equation, and they can ask us to plug in either point. Okay, so plug in how many months or plug in how much money. So our equation C of m is 30m plus 70. Find C of 18. So I plug 18 in for m. Just grab your calculator. So 18 times 30 is 540, and then add that 70. So this would be 610. What does that mean? Explain the answer and write it as an ordered pair. So my ordered pair is the x value, or the m, is 18, and that y value, or c of m, is 610. What does this mean? This means after 18 months, I pay $610. Okay, so if you know your units from the very beginning of this problem, you can just dissect everything else. The slope is where it's at. Find that slope. Then you know your two units of the slope. You know the independent variable m, the dependent variable money. Okay, and then you can describe what's happening. All right, well, what does this mean? It means after 18 months, I will pay $610 to the gym. Now they can go the other way. Find C of m equals 400. So now what am I trying to do? I'm trying to find the number of months. So if I have 400 is how much money I've paid, then how many months have I gone to the gym? So once again, you take 400, subtract the 70, that's 330, and then you divide both sides by 30. So that means m equals 11. Write this as an ordered pair. So the ordered pair is 11, 400. And what does this mean? After 11 months, I've paid $400. Does that make sense? Yeah, 11 months is less than the 18. At 18, I've already paid 610. After 11, I've already paid 400. So that makes sense. Once again, when you have a linear model, you have this equation where you have the slope, that's the rate of change. You have the y-intercept, that's where you begin, or a one-time fee. And then you have two variables, the independent variable, that month that just keeps ticking, or the dependent variable, that cost. It depends on how many months you went to the gym. That's how much you'll pay. Then once you have that equation, our awesome model, our template, you can plug in for the independent variable or the dependent variable and solve for the other as we've done here. I hope that helps clarify.